Hello, my name is Jesse Mecham with another episode of the Jesse Mecham Show, and I'm here each week to obsess out loud. This time, well, it's always about money, but it's about these seniors in high school, and if they're choosing to go and get a higher education. I don't even like that adjective before the word education, but if they're going to pursue a higher education, the question is, well, how are you going to pay for it? Before I get into this, read Ron Lieber's book. I believe it's called The Price We Pay for College or something along those lines. It's by Ron Lieber, Lieber. I had him on the podcast years ago, and he blew my mind as it relates to how flexible universities are when it comes to their pricing. So we can know that going in. But I have a senior in high school. And so applications have begun and things like that. And it can be an exciting time. It can be really exciting. You know, things are changing. But two things. How does your kid get into a really good school? And then if they do, how do you afford that stupidly expensive school? I shouldn't say stupidly. I meant outrageously obnoxious. No, the price is obscene. Is that the word we're going to use? It's out there. Here in my neck of the woods, University of Utah is a state school, not my alma mater. So I don't want to promote them. No, I'm just kidding. I love the U. Maybe I love it because it's $10,000 a year. If my senior were to get into a very prestigious Ivy League school like Yale, I think it's something like, I have my notes here, around $94,000 a year. All right. I can't even take the rest of this little recording seriously because of my sticker shock that I already knew, but I am shocked again. Having reread it, it shocked me anew. $94,000 a year. I'm setting aside financial aid that you might get from both. One would be like, here's a couple grand, and one would be like, a couple grand is how much you pay for breakfast per semester. $94,000 a year for 4 years. We're looking at $376,000 versus the U being 40, which sounds to me a lot like 9 times more expensive. Do you get what you pay for there? Let's just talk about it openly. Do you get what you pay for? Is the Yale education 9 times better? Maybe I went to Yale, and maybe I value that familial legacy kind of connection. Cool. Maybe I value the network that my child, my senior in high school, would have access to having graduated from a prestigious school like Yale. Maybe I don't, though. Maybe I'm just looking at it as a way for my kid to end up with a great job that they love. And I know too many examples of people that have found great jobs that they love and they did not pay $300,000 for a bachelor's degree. So is it 9 times better? I mean, maybe if you come out of school and you're like, well, if I come out of this state school, I'm making 80. But if I come out of this prestigious school called Yale, I'm making 9 times that. I'll be making $720,000 my first year. But we all know that's not true. That actually doesn't work. So you aren't making 9 times the money. And if you could pay for it with cash, like let's do a little thought exercise. If I were to give you $360,000 in cash, would you spend it on that Yale education? You have the money. Or what else could you do for that child? Could you spend $40,000 of it and still have a measly $320,000 left? And then could you, I don't know, help them get into their first house, help them pay for all of their cars for the rest of their life, put it in a Roth. You'd have to do that. No, you can't do that. There's a way, but you'd have to have started a lot earlier. So we can't just stick it all in a Roth. Put it in a brokerage account for them and have them earning on 300, let's just call it an even 300, have them earning 3-4%, let's call it 8%, $24,000 per year in growth at 8%. And they don't touch it. It's long-term. They don't have to worry about taxes. That's not nothing. Could you seed their retirement where I kicked this around a while ago because I had someone else on the podcast around what else you could do with that money and the opportunity cost of that money. You stick that in someone's fund at 20 years old, by the time they're 55, they are retired. And that's excluding any money that they put in on their own from doing that thing we call work. Granted, they won't be making that Yale money. They'll be making 120 instead of 160. I don't know. You can see where I would land on this. The important part here is, why? Get to the why behind the money. Get firm numbers from these schools. Get firm numbers. Talk them down. Again, read Ron Lieber's book. Negotiate with them like it's your full-time job. And then get really, really clear on the why behind this. Final thought, sort of unrelated. No, it's related, but it's a bit of a tangent. When I think about helping my kids with school, I first think about that little routine they give you when you're flying on an airplane and they talk about the masks. And I know a lot of you're already going to watch the latest Marvel movie and you're not going to hear this video, but they do talk about how the mask comes down. They always say, take care of your own mask and then worry about your kid. And I do feel like that still applies. You do not want to put yourself in a precarious financial position. Your child has their whole life in front of them to earn money and maybe even pay off student loans. I fight against that. But and you don't. So put on your own mask before putting on the mask of your child, financially speaking, and in that airplane situation. This isn't really much about the YNAB method today, but the school year is upon us. And it's worth thinking hard about. And it's worth you knowing that I, who have thought, well, I obsess each week. I've obsessed about this thing called higher education. And I have gone back and forth. No, I won't help my kids at all. Okay, I'll help them a little bit. Okay, maybe I'll help them 75%. And that's where we've landed, honestly, right now. Full disclosure, 4-year degree, I'll say we'll help you with 75%. But it is capped at the amount that's in your college 529, which does exclude that crazy big ticket Yale tuition. I think we'll leave it at that. Know the why. What is the job of that money? And what other jobs might that money also be able to do? Yeah, I think that's all I've got for you today. Until next time, remember, just give every dollar a job.